Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do this easy to make Christmas stocking. The total length of this stocking is about 20 inches or 50 centimeters and about 6 inches wide or 15 centimeters. I will show you step by step how to make this simple stocking. This pattern is done with a single crochet, working from the top down. We will then do the heel portion and then continue down and do the toe, and at the very last part we will put the cuff on. If you like these videos, please be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get started. You will need a 5mm crochet hook, any type of medium weight yarn, some scissors, darning needle, stitch markers, and a measuring tape. And then you'll need a little bit of extra red color and off-white color. Let's start with a slip knot. We will then chain 46, which is about 12 inches or 30 centimeters. Keeping your stitches nice and straight, we're going to join with a slip stitch to make a circle. So starting in that very first chain we made, we're going to make a circle, insert your hook, and then do your slip stitch to join. In that same stitch, we're going to start our first single crochet. And then we will do one single crochet in each chain. Let's put a stitch marker on our first single crochet. We can now continue around the circle until we have 46 single crochet. Here is my last stitch, and this is number 46. We can then remove this stitch marker to start our first stitch. These single crochet are all done in the round. So inserting your hook, this will be stitch number 1. We can place our marker back into stitch number 1, and let's just count our next round again just to be sure we have our 46 single crochet. Each single crochet is going to go into the single crochet from the round below, going under both strands. So continue around the circle. Once you know that you have 46 single crochet in each round, you can remove the marker and just continue. Continue until your sock measures about 10 inches or 25 centimeters. We will stop our round at the same spot of where we started, just to keep the stitches in line. Do not cut this yarn. This is what we will use to continue our sock pattern. We are now going to start the heel. It will look like this when you are done. We will now use our off-white yarn. Let's leave a tail of about 20 inches to start. We will first insert our hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, but this time we will bring in your new color. And that will just finish off the stitch at the top to start our next stitch. So we will now do 20 single crochet in our first row of our off-white color. Be sure that you have left that tail so we can stitch the heel together at the end. So let's do 20 single crochet in our first row. We will then chain 1 and turn. For row 2, we're going to start with a decrease. A decrease will be 2 single crochet together. We will insert our hook into the first stitch, pull up a loop, insert into the second stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3. This is a single crochet decrease. We will then continue with 16 single crochet, 1 in each single crochet from the round below. You will then have 2 stitches left at the end. This is where we will put our next decrease. So row 2 will be 18 stitches. Each time we will do a chain 1 and turn. Again, for row 3, we're going to start with a decrease. So putting these 2 stitches together, we will then do 14 single crochet across and another decrease. Row 3 will equal 16 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. So now you can just continue this pattern. I will show you how many stitches you will have in each row. Row 9 will be our last decrease. We're then going to chain 1 and turn, and we will now start an increase. For row 10, we will start with 2 single crochet in that very first stitch. We will then put 2 single crochet, 1 in this stitch, 1 in the next, and in our last stitch, we're going to put 2 single crochet. So for row 10 now, this will be 6 stitches. Always chain 1 and turn, and let's do row 11. Again, we're going to do our increases at each end of the row. We will start with 2 single crochet in that very first stitch. We will then do 4 single crochet across, and in that last stitch, make sure you get under both pieces of yarn on those last stitches, 2 single crochet. So row 11, you should have 8 stitches. We will keep doing our increase rows with the following pattern until you have 20 stitches. So row 17, you will have 20 stitches across. Be sure to leave a tail of about 20 inches, and then you can cut your yarn. This is how the heel should look. So we will stitch the heel together, bringing both ends. So this is why we left the tail. So one side, it'll be stitched together, and then on the other. And it will look like this to create the heel. We will stitch from the inside. So let's turn it so the right sides are together, or the outside of the heel is together. And then using that long tail that we have left, we will stitch the heel together. Remember, this is our yarn that we have left. Using your darning needle, finish off the heel by stitching both ends together. Your sock should now look like this. You can also weave in your beginning yarn at the top. We can now continue crocheting around the foot part of our stocking. In the stitch where we left off, we will insert our hook and pull up that yarn. We're now going to do 20 single crochet along those 20 stitches of the heel. And this is our last stitch of the heel. We're now going to continue into the gray portion. So this is not the first stitch. This one here is the first stitch. If I put my single crochet in there, it kind of leaves a hole or a little bit of a gap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a decrease. So I'm going to put 2 single crochet together. So that just brings this hole together. So insert into 1 and the next, and then yarn over through 2. So this kind of closes up that gap. And at the same time, it's just our first stitch. So then we will continue along the gray part. So you will have 26 single crochet along the gray part of the stocking. After you have done your 26 single crochet, we're going to continue all the way around with one more row. This should equal 46 single crochet. We will then decrease our next round by 2. So we're going to decrease in each corner. So in each corner, let's do a single crochet together or a decrease. So inserting into one and into the next and doing your decrease. Work all the way around to the next corner and do another decrease. You should now then have 44 single crochet in each round. It's a good idea to place a marker in one of your first stitches just to be sure you do have the 44 stitches. So continue going around, but let's just count this row to make sure that we have 44. After you know that you have 44 stitches, we will continue this going around and around until we have about 6 inches or 15 centimeters for the foot part of our stocking. We will stop this round at the back in the center. We can slip stitch our last stitch and cut the yarn. With our beige color, we are going to go into that slip stitch and pull that color up, and we will do 44 single crochet all the way around. So let's pull up that yarn, chain 1, and we're actually going to do our first single crochet in that slip stitch. So let's continue around until you have 44 single crochet. If you would like, you can just pull this beginning yarn here out and to the back. Sometimes it just makes the stitch look a little nicer. This here will be stitch number 43 and 44. We're then going to slip stitch to join in that first single crochet, and we're going to do a chain 1 and turn. And the reason is we want our stitches to look the same on the toe as the heel. We will then begin round 2. Round 2, we're going to do 9 single crochet, and then we're going to do a decrease, and we're going to do this 4 times. Remember to start in that very first stitch. We now do our decrease stitch and then continue again that pattern. I'll show you one more time. When you have reached the end of round 2, we will slip stitch to join in the top of that first single crochet, and then we will do a chain 1 and turn. Round 3, we will do another decrease. So let's do 8 single crochet this time with a single crochet decrease and do that pattern 4 times. Again, slip stitch to join in the first stitch, chain 1 and turn. For round 4, again doing a decrease, we will start with 7 single crochet and then a 1 single crochet decrease, doing this pattern again 4 times. For round 5, this time we will do 6 single crochet and our 1 single crochet decrease, and again 4 times. Make sure you always do a slip stitch to join, a chain 1 and a turn. For round 6, we will start with 5 single crochet and a 1 single crochet decrease. Round 7 will be 4 single crochet and a single crochet decrease 4 times. Slip stitch to join, chain 1 and turn, and we'll start round 8. You'll notice how it's getting nice and small for our little circle to almost finish the toe. So let's do this round with 3 single crochet and a single crochet decrease. We will now do our last round. This is round 9. Let's do it together. So this is going to be 2 single crochet and a single crochet decrease. So starting in that first stitch, so 1, 2, and the decrease. So this is 2 times. This will be 3 times. And this is our last time. We will then slip stitch to join in the top of the first stitch. And you will see we still have a little bit of a hole that we will weave closed, so we can cut our yarn and pull through. Just leave a small tail so we have enough to weave in the toe end. With your darning needle, we can weave the toe closed. Just go in and out of each stitch and pull snug. We can then bring our yarn to the inside and finish closing the hole. Weave in your other ends. The toe now should look something like this. We can now start the cuff. Let's start this by finding the center back. We can then insert our hook, pull up the beige yarn, we will chain 1 and start in that very first stitch, and we will do 44 single crochet all the way around. We will then slip stitch to join, chain 1, and turn. For our next round, we will start in the very first stitch, but we're going to do the back loop only for every stitch. And we will do 44 single crochet, all in the back loop. The reason we are doing it in the back loop, this will let the stitch fall forward to create the cuff. So you can see how this will then come down. Continue all the way around, and I will meet you back at the beginning. We will then slip stitch to join, but we will go through both loops. And we will not turn this time. We are going to chain 2, and this will count as our first double crochet. We are then going to double crochet into each stitch. So we're going to do 43 double crochet for a total of 44. So going through both loops, let's double crochet all the way around. Remember, this counts as 1, and we'll do 43 more. Again, if you fold it down, you can see how this is forming our cuff. Here, this is stitch number 44. We're then going to slip stitch to join in the top of that double crochet, just like that. So this here's our chain 2, which counts as 1, which is 44. Let's do another chain 2. We will now do a front post double crochet. Yarn over, put your hook behind the double crochet from the round below, yarn over, pull the loop through, and continue your double crochet. Yarn over, pulling through 2, and yarn over through 2 again. That is your front post double crochet. We can then double crochet into the next stitch, and in the next, a front post double crochet. We are going to repeat this pattern. Again, this will be folded over for our cuff, and you can see how it's starting to take shape. Let's continue with our front post double crochet, and then our double crochet, and repeat. You will notice when you do the front post, it's actually missing that stitch in there, so that way you'll know when to do the next one. Just be sure to have a look at your stitches to make sure that you're not missing a stitch. Go front, double, front, double, front, double, and continue on all the way around. When you've reached around to the beginning again, you will end with a front post double crochet, and then you will slip stitch to join in the top of the front post at the beginning, so slip stitch to join in there. And then we can again do a chain 2 and start our next row. For this row, we will do the front post double crochet around the front post double crochet from the round below. So going around that one, and then double crochet in the next. Again, front post around the one below. So you can see it here that we will do the front post double crochet around the one from the round below. And just repeat this all the way around. You can make your cuff as long as you would like. I made mine with 5 rows of the double crochet. Once you've determined how long your cuff is going to be, we can then slip stitch to join and bring up our new color. This will be the red. So let's bring in the new color for our slip stitch, and then we can chain 1. And starting in that same stitch, we're going to do single crochet all the way around. And we will do 2 rows of our red color. Do not cut the beige yarn, as we will use this to pull up for our last 3 rows. After the first row, we're going to slip stitch to join in that first stitch. Let's carry the beige yarn up by putting it over our hook. And you can just leave this behind. What it does is just carry it up so we can do our last 3 rows with it. Let's do our second row of the red color. Make sure you're going through both pieces of yarn there and single crochet all the way around. After 2 rows of the red, we will go back to the beige yarn. So inserting our hook, we will take our beige yarn now and pull it up to finish that stitch. Chain 1 and single crochet in that first stitch. And let's do 3 rows of this beige yarn. When you are finished, slip stitch to join, and then we can cut our yarn and weave in the ends. Let's cut that red one too if you haven't already. Weave in these 2 ends. To make the hanger, let's use our red yarn, and we're going to chain 20. We will then do a slip stitch back into each chain all the way down to the beginning. Continue watching this video to the very end to show how to attach the hanger. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy your Christmas stocking work sock. See you next time. Bye!